What is going on, YouTube? It's Mr. Ferguson here on this cold January day. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in central North Carolina. Looks like we got some rain last night. I wasn't even aware of that, but we've got that system that's moving up towards you guys up in the northeast that's potentially going to have some snow. And then I heard Weather Channel already talking about more rain for us, maybe possibly freezing rain depending on when it comes through, and possibly some more snow for the north. So we're definitely in those winter months where the sleet, the ice, the rain, the frost, we're in the middle of it now. So thank you guys for tuning in. As you noticed, no Wednesday video. Likely I'll only do Mondays or Fridays, unless there's something pressing that I feel like I can get out to you guys. I don't just want to blab on camera and waste your time. So thank you for tuning in for this one. I want to speak to all of you guys who may have, for the first or second time, started with your fescue lawn this past fall. We're all anxious to get out in the lawn in the springtime. And so the main focus that we really have right now, we're not doing so much in the lawn as we've talked about. Why is that? Our soil temperatures, they continue to drop in the winter months, right? And it begins in the late fall, starts in the winter. We drop down. The grass is not taking up nutrients. It just goes kind of dormant. We notice that in some cases, we see people in the comments and on Reddit and YouTube, they're saying, man, I think I got some fungus in my yard. Well, it's not really fungus. It's just the grass going dormant, and it begins to turn colors. And I'm even seeing some right behind the camera a little bit right here where it's a little yellowy and it looks fungusy, but we know that fungus is a mix of moisture, warm air temperatures, warm ground temperatures. We definitely don't have that. We have the opposite. So it's more of the grass just going dormant. But you see behind me, guys, my yard is doing great because here in North Carolina, even right now this morning, we're 42 degrees. But we're not like a crazy dark, ridiculous dormant looking color. It's holding on to that last nitrogen application we put down. We put down a little potassium, we put down a little CK, and we put down a little fertilizer, because down, depending on where you are, you can still do these type things. You can still, like, I could probably get out here and mow this thing, but it's not that bad. There's a little unevenness to my lawn because it is growing. We've had temperatures roughly in the 50s the past week and going into this next week. Lows in the 20s, upper 20s into lower 30s. So we're still at the point where slowly the grass is growing, but it's nowhere near what fall or spring is doing. So yes, you can still get out there if you're further south, and you can do biostimulants if you're just anxious to get out in the lawn. You're new to it. I remember when the lawn bug bit me. I wanted to get out and tackle this thing, but it's like it's cold. Same thing with like sports and things. When we get something that bites us, we're like, man, I don't care what the weather's like. I'm going to get out there and do it, right? So you can still do those things depending on where you are. If you're further north, I would probably just say you're done. And if you got snow on the ground, that kind of answers that for you, right? But what I want to get into quickly and very briefly on the short Friday video for you guys is we're talking about crabgrass. We're in January, and we're looking at, February, March, April, May. We're looking forward to spring, because in several months, at least here in North Carolina, we should begin slowly creeping back up. We don't get very cold here in North Carolina. We stay relatively warm even in our winter months, to where you guys up north are like, it's 42 and you got a toboggan on. What's wrong with you, dude? That's normal here. To us, it's cold. I don't know if you remember the story. When I went to Egypt, it was 72 degrees. That's their winter. They were walking around in freaking starter coats and toboggans at 72 degrees. No joke. The Egyptians, it was freezing cold to them because temps get up in the upper 100s. And so that's their summer. It's hot. And so 72 was friggin' chilly for them. And we were like, man, this is paradise coming from Indiana when it was just snowing when we got on the plane. So depending on where you are is temperature. So when we're looking ahead, guys, to spring, here's what I want to drop for you. If you're new to lawn care, or if you just need a refresher like me, I had to look this up before I came out. I'm going to put this little note over here, and that's according to UMass. I believe it's their turf center over there, that our crabgrass begins to germinate when temperatures stay consistently in the 50s, 55 degrees for about 5 to 6 days. We get crabgrass germinating. So that's important to know. That's why we want to start telling you this stuff now in January. Number one, we're talking about pre-emergent to stop crabgrass. If crabgrass is going to begin to germinate when we have consistent 5 days of 55-degree soil temperatures, we need to pay attention to that. For me in North Carolina, I began to put my prodiamine last year down at the end of February. That's when we started seeing some 55s. So you're talking about your soil temps, even now, they still may be dropping some, but eventually they're going to bottom out and they're going to begin to come back up because we're going to get warmer as we go on, right? And so that's why we encourage you, whether it's Greencast, there's a website, Greencast. If I've got it, I'll type it down here below, but it's Greencast. You can just Google that. But you've also got the Yard Mastery app that is free on iPhone or Google, Android phones. If you don't want to buy anything, that's fine. But it tells you your soil temperatures and your location using GPS. So based on where you are, it can tell you what your average or close to what your soil temperatures are. We're not talking about outside air. We're talking about the upper soil temperatures, the upper part of the soil. So when that stays 55 degrees, then your crabgrass begins to germinate in these times. And so we want to be ahead of that is the point. You want to have your and that means sometimes, especially with our pre-emergent, you got to get out here when it's kind of chilly and do that application, whether it's by your spreader with some prodiamine or whether you're spraying it with dithiopyr or prodiamine, we're spraying it. You want to be ahead, just like we were ahead of the Poa annua when I put it down on the 1st of September here in North Carolina to stop it for fall. I have no Poa annua, as you guys can see. I don't have any of those plants popping up. I have no signs the past 2 years that I've done dithiopyr in my backyard. I've had no Poa annua. It absolutely works. I've seen it with my own eyes now. So the same thing is true. Now we're just transitioning from the cold season with Poa annua to the warm season, to spring with crabgrass. Crabgrass will stick out like a sore thumb and ruin that beautiful lawn that you've got maybe right now. And so we want to prevent that. So if you've got Poa annua, this is not going to stop Poa annua, but you're going to stop the Poa annua of spring crabgrass. Crabgrass is going to pop up all over. We got to get ahead of it. So what are you saying, Mr. Ferguson? Well, when you notice, you've got to be paying attention. And I can tell you, hey, here in North Carolina, it's time for me to do mine. That may be a key for you guys up north to be paying attention because your time may be coming soon as well. And I've done split apps. I've already done several videos in my channel history. Go check those out. I may just review those and do a brief update on those here, but I'm going to do the same thing because it works. Everything I've done with the numbers, with my backpack sprayer, I get people that argue you're not doing it right, but every time I do those numbers that I talk about, it works, and I never have crabgrass. So I'm going to do the same thing again. So, point being, if you're watching this video, you don't have prodiamine, you don't have dithiopyr, maybe you've got Christmas money, you want to buy a backpack sprayer and you want to spray, we're going to be spraying here on my channel. Maybe you don't like to spray, maybe you got a small piece of property and you want to get a new spreader or you need a spreader. You can do it both ways, guys. I would encourage you, if you're just at beginning, it's much simpler to probably do it by just spreading it in your lawn with a push spreader. But if you've been doing it a few years and you've got extra money and you want to invest in the long haul of lawn care, then go ahead and look at the flow zones on GCI or other websites and do the spray option. I like the split apps to do one and then do it about 30 days later and do it again because it stretches out that prodiamine to all the way into the summer to prevent crabgrass the whole spring and summer. I never have an issue with crabgrass in my lawn. So if you're one in the past with your fescue lawn that this year you want to get on top of it, this is the video for you. Share this with your buddy. Share this with your friends. Say, hey man, I know you was talking about that freaking crabgrass last year. This is how you stop it. You got to get ahead of the game. You got to start now when it's cold. Have the proper materials, prodiamine or dithiopyr, have the proper equipment, a sprayer or a spreader, and be able to apply that to your lawn at the proper time before the crabgrass begins to germinate. Once it germinates, guys, then you get into, okay, now we're talking about post-emergence. We see it popping up in our lawn because we were late on our prodiamine or we're late on our pre-emergent. So now I have to go to another product to kill it because I see it in my lawn. And so that's a whole nother topic. We're talking about stopping it before it ever pops up. So quickly this Friday, wanted to do a crabgrass video. Yes, out here in the cold because we're looking forward to when the spring is coming. It's a little early for that, but I was like, hey, what can we talk about today? There's nothing that piques people's interest a little bit like crabgrass, but most of the time people don't care about crabgrass right now. They care about it when they walk out and it's going to be beautiful in a few weeks in March or so, and they're like, oh, I need to start figuring out what to do with this crabgrass. Well, then by then it's probably too late because our soil temperatures have risen to the 50s. My teeth are chattering. I'm cold. The wind is blowing. It's in the 40s. I don't like this weather, so I'm going to go into where it's warm. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday. Thank you for tuning in. We'll try to do another one for Monday. If you don't see me then, check Wednesday, check Friday. I'm posting them as I feel. We got some content to bring you. So God bless you. Happy 2024. We'll see you next time.